In January, your government rammed through a bill in one day that can ban entire organisations even if no crime has been committed. And now Parliament is considering a bill that would permanently establish Australia as an authoritarian police state. It would entrench secret police powers that include detaining and interrogating without any judicial oversight. Provisions that allow the government to jail journalists who expose government crimes. Powers that can be used on children as young as 14. And if this bill passes, these powers will never expire. I'm Robert Barwick from the Australian Citizens Party. If you believe Australia should never become an authoritarian police state, I urge you now to sign our petition against this madness. Please stay with me because what I'm about to explain affects every Australian family. The bill in question was introduced in Parliament in August 2025. It's called the Australian Security Intelligence Organisation Amendment Bill No. 2, 2025. It is the latest bill to expand ASIO's powers to operate as a secret police. That's right, a secret police. Something which is supposed to be a feature of so-called authoritarian regimes, not democratic countries. After the shock of the 9/11 terrorist attacks in 2001, Australians were told extraordinary powers were temporarily needed to stop imminent threats. Those powers allowed ASIO to detain and interrogate people without normal judicial oversight, forcing them to answer questions with no right to silence. Even back then, many Australians warned that this crossed a dangerous line. It violated a basic democratic principle, the separation of powers. Policing is supposed to be carried out by civilian police under judicial oversight. Independent judges are required to approve warrants. Instead of requiring ASIO to get a warrant from a judge, ASIO only needed the approval of the Attorney General, i.e. the government, a blatant breach of the separation of powers. These powers were only approved by Parliament in 2003 because they added a sunset clause to make them temporary. However, once they were introduced, they never went away. Instead, they expanded. Over the years since 9/11, the age for interrogation was lowered. The scope of issues widened beyond terrorism. And journalists were threatened with prison for reporting on ASIO operations, even if they exposed wrongdoing. Now, the government wants to go even further. This latest bill would allow ASIO to use these coercive powers across all of its activities. And most alarmingly, it would repeal the sunset clause entirely, locking these powers in forever. That's what makes this moment different. When temporary, these emergency powers were bad enough. If made permanent, Australians will be accepting we are now a police state. And here's the question every Australian should ask. With all these extraordinary powers, why wasn't ASIO able to stop the Bondi attack by a perpetrator already known to the agency? Where is the accountability? Why does ASIO boss Mike Burgess still have a job? In a healthy democracy, agencies that fail so catastrophically are investigated and leadership is held to account. Instead, the government's response is to grant even more power, including the power to recommend banning organisations. Australia's leading constitutional expert, Emerita Professor Anne Toomey, warned this banning power, as written, has so few protections it would allow a future government to even ban political parties, such as the Citizens Party. This is how freedom is lost, not overnight, but step by step, until people wake up and realise the country they thought they lived in is gone. Do you want Australia to have a secret police? Do you want children as young as 14 to be interrogated? Is it a good idea to jail journalists for up to 10 years for reporting on an ASIO operation, even if they were exposing illegal activities and corruption? Is this the kind of country you want to leave your children and grandchildren? Yes, intelligence is important, but policing must always be done with checks and balances by civilian police under judicial oversight. That's why we're calling on Parliament to repeal these police state powers, not expand them. Please, sign the petition and add your voice to this demand. Share it with your friends and family. Once these powers are made permanent, important protections against government overreach will be gone forever. Please sign the petition now and help free Australia from permanent police state powers.
Authorised by Craig Isherwood, Citizens Party, Melbourne.